And welcome into the free agent episode of Crazy's Corner. We're recording two shows for you today. We're going to talk about some good from free agency for fantasy, and then we're going to talk about some bad for fantasy. So some guys that maybe today, some guys that you like. If you had them on your Dynasty team, you're excited. And if you're going to go into redraft, you're excited to come get these guys. And the next show, if you haven't watched that one already, maybe some guys that are a little bit more shaky, didn't quite land where it's best for their fantasy outputs. But I'm joined with Jeff and Will from Media. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Doing all right, man.
Yeah, we got the Vikings gonna have JJ McCarthy at quarterback next year. Still somehow in this whole Aaron Rodgers situation, but that don't see that coming to fruition. Panthers have made some moves. Seahawks have made a move that we'll talk about on the next show. But we'll start off with the tight end for the new Denver Broncos, and that's Evan Engram. Pair him with Bo Nix, a guy who's taken lots of work out of the slot in Jacksonville, but he is a pass-catching tight end. They're putting him into an offense that really needs weapons. They have Cortland Sutton, but they're really looking for guys to come in and demand targets, and I think Evan Ingram's going to do that. He got a 2-year, $23 million deal, so he's going to be there for 2 years. Bo Nix is going to continue to take a step forward. Sean Payton likes his tight ends. So I think Evan Engram is going to be worked into this passing game very well. Not the greatest blocking tight end, but he is there for fantasy, which is going to get you some catches, some touchdowns. So I really like the Evan Engram landing spot. What do you guys think about Evan Engram landing in Denver? Do we like it?
If it's the Evan Engram that was in Jacksonville and not the Evan Engram that was with the Giants, especially that first year when he was dealing with a whole lot of drops.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the latter Evan Engram, yes, I do like that.
He'll get used by Denver. They'll use him. Sean Payton will put him in position. And you have a quarterback that, I think performed better than most people expected last year. And he'll probably utilize him very effectively. The coaching staff mattered on that pickup, right?
Yeah, for sure. So we like Evan Engram. Jeff, who is a guy that you're excited about in his new landing spot?
I am looking at Justin Fields, not just because he's starting, but because he's paired with his old college wide receiver. So I think him and Mr. Garrett might be able to go ahead and bring back some of the Ohio State magic. We'll see.
Will, what are your thoughts on Justin Fields in New York?
I feel bad for Justin Fields. And I get taking the money, but not all money. Look, Daniel Jones, not all money is good money. And you've just shortened your career. I don't understand. Like, Justin Fields, either he had no offers, and I get, maybe this is the best fiscal offer for him. There is no way anyone in their right mind should be playing quarterback for the New York Jets right now. Sam Darnold proved how bad that franchise is. They're already bad. They're already a joke of the NFL, if we're being honest. Ownership is a disaster. Front office is a disaster. They're a fantasy disaster. And now you're putting a kid in there in a hostile environment, and God forbid they draft a quarterback. Because as soon as he has one bad game.
Yeah. I like Justin Fields in New York for Breece Hall. I think that it'll bring some pressure off of him, and hopefully that'll help open up some lanes in the running game. They put a little bit of money into the interior of their offensive line so far in free agency. For Justin Fields, when he plays, he's good for fantasy. He does have another weapon on the outside, so I do like it that way. I do agree with what Will's saying, though. I don't see this working out well. But if Justin Fields is going to be on the field for the Jets, he's going to be scoring fantasy points with his legs. And Garrett Wilson can break any play big.
If you own Justin Fields, trade him right now.
Well, I would say, as just, if I want to be on the other side of this, I would like to see what Aaron Glenn brings, to the table first. Looking at the Jets franchise as a whole, the last couple of, I won't even say coaching hires, because Saleh wasn't bad. He just didn't have an offensive coordinator. So and then the guys you bring in after that were probably subpar. So I want to see with almost a fresh start what might happen with Justin Fields back there. Just like we just said, he's got a number of running backs. He's got, weapons at the receiver spot. They've worked on the line. So now let's see what they're able to do.
I do agree with Will, though, if you have him and you're not trying to win this year,
Trade him.
move Justin Fields. Because if you're trying to compete this year in a 2-quarterback league and he's your only other option, then sure, he's going to put up fantasy points this year. But if you can find someone who believes that the Jets are going to turn around and Fields can have a career resurrection like we've seen from Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, I would definitely capitalize on that.
I would be starting him in fantasy.
Yeah.
His value went up. That's all.
Yeah, his value definitely went up. He got a starting job. So if you have him in fantasy, it's a good thing that now he has a starting job. He didn't go somewhere and take a backup job. He's not competing with Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis, or anything like that. So it is good fantasy-wise. His value did go up. Will, who is your player that you are a little bit, whose value raised?
Speaking of Jets, Jets, we're going to talk about the man who pulled the ripcord and got the hell out of there to go to the Rams, Davante Adams, because he knew that was a crap hole and he was leaving.
Yep.
And so he didn't matter who the coach was because the ownership stayed the same. So he has found happy pastures with a quarterback who might be playing his last year and a team that came close to, honestly, they would have won that playoff game. They're probably in the Super Bowl, if we're being honest. And he is going to put up numbers. And if you had Davante Adams on your roster, you have to be the happiest fantasy dynasty owner in America right now.
Yeah, and
his value went through the roof.
Yeah, him and Stafford both have 2-year contracts. So we could even see them play another 2 years together and finish out after the 2 years.
And Cooper Kupp's gone?
Yep. Yeah, Cooper Kupp's gone. They just paid Tutu Atwell $10 million, so I guess he's their wide receiver 3. If you're paying him that much, and then Puka. But Matthew Stafford has shown that he can support 2 top 10 wide receivers with Davante Adams and Puka now filling those roles. I think that this is a good landing spot for him. And again, if you can sell him in Dynasty, I would. He's an older guy getting up there. Now he has some value. Jeff, what are your thoughts on the new landing spot?
But a month ago, what you would have got for Davante a month ago is not what you can get for him now.
No, for sure. You could definitely get more for him now. Jeff, what do you think?
I mean, I definitely think his value went up. Just being in a Sean McVay offense, that is something he's been, I'd say, the best offense he's going to be in for the last 2 years, going from the Raiders to the Jets. So being in this offense, huge value add. So I guess Ben will be very happy that I traded him to him. So, and the guy that I got in return probably isn't going to be playing that season. So
and one more guy I want to mention.
Well.
Yeah, one more guy I want to mention before we end this show is Najee Harris, signed with the Chargers. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards on expiring contracts. So as of this recording, Najee Harris is the back in L.A. for them. I think this is a good offense. Justin Herbert's there. Jim Harbaugh has wanted to coach Najee Harris since he was recruiting him in Michigan when he went over to Alabama. So this is a match that's been in the works for a while now. We have Najee Harris as an offense that I project to be good. I think the touchdowns will be there for him this year. Anything else you guys want to say? You guys also happy with the landing spot for Najee at this point?
Yeah.
Went to a better place. I mean,
yeah. I would have liked a longer contract for his dynasty value, but a 1-year kind of a prove-it deal. Hopefully he can prove it because he had been inefficient in Pittsburgh, but maybe Pittsburgh was the issue. So there we go. We have 4 guys there whose values have gone up since free agency started. We're recording another show about 3 guys whose values have decreased, whose landing spots have hurt them. So go check that out if you haven't already. Thank you, Will and Jeff, for for joining me. You guys make sure you go check out the media app. It's a virtual press conference app to allow you to host a virtual press conference from your own phone. You can ask athletes questions on there. People can ask you questions. You can send the athletes money to answer the questions, or people can send you money to answer questions. So go check that out. And thank you, too, for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed it.